Yes, I'll turn on the mic. We had a busy agenda. The board is now going to take 5 to 7 minutes, and then we will begin the business meeting. During executive session, no votes were taken, and so we're going to begin a short recess, certainly no more than 7 minutes. Thank you for understanding. call the business meeting to order. The board is back with you now, totally refreshed. Laura Lee, will you please call the roll?
Stu Boyd.
Here.
Denise Chapman. Here. Lori Goebel. Here. Don Kirk.
Here.
Alexander Lessem. Nancy Rumfelt.
Here.
Mike Scholl.
Here.
Nancy, will you lead us, please, in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Denise, our mission statement, please.
The mission of the Thompson School District will be a school district that empowers, challenges, and inspires students, faculty, staff, parents, school leaders, and community members to learn, achieve, and excel.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. I'd entertain a motion for adoption.
I move.
Second.
All right. Motion from Nancy, second from Dawn. Is there any discussion? Proceeding then to the vote. Laura Lee, will you please call the roll?
Stu Boyd.
Aye.
Denise Chapman.
Aye.
Lori Goebel.
Aye.
Don Kirk.
Aye.
Nancy Rumfelt.
Aye.
Mike Scholl.
Aye.
The vote was 6 votes in favor of approving the agenda. And so we move then to public participation, which is item 4.0 on the agenda. We're looking forward to a presentation from Cottonwood Plains and Truscott Elementary. And so I'll turn this portion of the meeting over to members of those two schools.
Good evening, Dr. Heller, Mr. President, members of the board, and members of the community. My name is Eric Harding. I'm the principal at Cottonwood Plains Elementary School, one of 2 dual language elementary schools in the district. Presenting tonight with Karen Hanford, principal at Truscott Elementary, the other elementary dual language school. So we wanted to just give you a brief overview. We know that there are some new members of the board, and we have a new superintendent this year. Just a brief overview of how we do dual language in Thompson and the way we do it specifically at the elementary level. So at kindergarten through 2nd grade, our teacher that teaches in English, our kids are in English for half the day and Spanish for half the day. And our teacher that teaches in English handles language arts, social studies, science, and SEL. And then our teacher that instructs in Spanish handles language arts, math, and SEL as well. So they handle more foundational language arts at that level. And then you'll see on the next slide that we transition as we move into 3rd through 5th. At 3rd through 5th, we flip the curriculum a bit. The English teacher teaches language arts, math, and social emotional learning. And then we get heavier into the language arts side on the Spanish side of the ball at 3rd, 4th, and 5th. They still do social studies, science, and SEL at those levels as well. With us tonight, too, I'd also like to introduce Tony Tyson, who is our World Languages TOSA. She's going to talk a little bit about the Apple test for you tonight.
Good evening, all. I'm the dual language and world language TOSA here in the district. I've been around for a while doing different things. This is my 52nd year. So now I'm working with the dual language a lot. So how do we assess these students? We have a test called the Apple test, AAPPL. So once you start working with the Apple test, we never be able to spell the fruit correctly. It is with the ACTFL, ACTFL is our National World Language Association in affiliation with Language Testing International. They have created a series of elementary and secondary tests so we can take a look at the proficiency level. And so we take a look at the proficiency level. We're talking about what can students know, understand, and do. It's not content-based at all. So what can they do when they're speaking? What can they do when they're reading and writing? What can they do when they're taking a moment to listen? So there are 4 components to the test, and maybe you have taken language tests before, but language skills are not in isolation. Okay, you're listening to me. You might have questions. We have communication along those ways. So this is about the communication standard, number 1 in every state. Okay, we have 4 tests that we start in 3rd grade. The 3rd graders take the speaking test. By all means, that's the most difficult skill to do. It's a production skill. And they talk to little avatars. And they have no idea what the content is, but they do it. So that makes it proficiency. Then in 4th grade, we have listening and reading. Those are the receptive skills. They take them in, which are easier. And finally, in 5th grade, we have the writing. There is a score that we look for. We do not score them. They're scored by the Apple organization. And we're looking at N4. We have what we call novice, intermediate, advanced. We have advanced, distinguished, and superior. They're not up here. They're a novice. It takes a long time to learn a language. We're very excited. I'm going to turn it over as we explain more about our multilingual, multiliterate pathway.
Can you back up a slide just real quick? Thanks. So what we look for at the elementary level when we are giving these assessments is a novice 4 level, which is the highest level of the novice performance that the test allows. And just as a point of reference, when we have high schoolers that are trying to get the seal of biliteracy, they need to get an intermediate 4. So about at the halfway point to that level is what we are looking for at the elementary level. So you can see, and these are numbers that are combined between the 2 dual language schools. At speaking at the 3rd grade level, we have 65% of our students scoring at the novice 4 level or better. Some of them at that level, believe it or not, are already at the intermediate 4 level and could qualify for a seal of biliteracy, even at 3rd grade. And then in 4th grade, we have 81% of our students performing at the novice 4 level in listening, 71 performing at the novice 4 level in reading. And then at 5th grade, and we're particularly proud of this one, 89% of our students are scoring at the novice 4 level or better in writing. So those are just some numbers that we like to present and kind of track to show how we're doing in terms of proficiency. But it's important to remember that the language that our kids are learning in a dual language program is not just limited to what they're showing on a test. We have, for the last 2 years, had, as far as I know, the only Spanish language Destination Imagination teams coming out of Colorado to compete at the national level, which we're pretty proud of too. So you can see that it doesn't just limit itself to the classroom. They're doing things in the language outside of that as well. Now that I've talked about the boring numbers, Karen gets to talk about the fun stuff.
Thank you for having us tonight. I do think I get the fun part because you get to see our students tonight, and we're very excited and very proud of the work that they're doing. So I'm going to invite up 2 of our students from 4th grade, Alondra and Wild, and they're going to come up and do a presentation for you in both languages, so you'll have a chance to hear that, as well as Senior Garcia, our 4th grade teacher, is going to introduce them as well.
Sí, pues igualmente al ser una escuela bilingüe les voy a presentar en español. Yo soy Daniel García, el maestro de 4º grado en la escuela de Truscott, y tenemos 2 estudiantes que le van a hacer una presentación en los 2 idiomas.
And so you can see their faces. I'm going to move the microphone.
Mi nombre es Wild, yo tengo 10 años y es mi quinto año en Shosca. Estoy en 4º grado. Mi primer idioma es inglés.
My name is Alondra. I'm 10 years old. It's my 5th year in Trusca. I'm in 4th grade. My first language is Spanish. Wild, ¿por qué te gusta ir a la escuela de Truscott?
Me gusta dos maestros y tener muchos amigos en la escuela. What has been your biggest accomplishment when you started at Trescott?
I had to learn a lot of English and make new friends. Wild, ¿qué te gusta más de cuarto grado?
Este año mi clase favorita es matemáticas porque es muy divertido resolver problemas. Which is your favorite subject and why?
I really like all the subjects because I always learn something new. One thing that I loved was feeding mealworms for weeks until they became beetles. Wild, ¿qué es lo más interesante que has aprendido en cuarto grado?
Lo más interesante fue el experimento de ciencias. Aprendimos sobre la lluvia ácida y cómo erosiona diferentes rocas. Why do you think it is important to learn 2 languages?
I think it's important so when you travel, you can communicate in other countries. I also love meeting new people. If I know English and Spanish, I can communicate with many other people.
Awesome. Thank you, kiddos. And then finally, I'd like to invite up Jill Brito. She is one of our Spanish teachers, and Senora Garcia again. We have some special guests here, as you can see, and they are going to be accompanied by Leticia Calzado, who is one of our Spanish teachers at Cottonwood Plains.
Dr. Heller, members of the board, thank you for having us. Muchas gracias por tenernos aquí en esta noche. Our Truscott dance team has been practicing and performing since September of last year. This is something we do every year. Lo hacemos todos los años, un club de baile en la escuela de Truscott. And we've been very honored to not only perform at school and district performances, but also been invited to perform in the community by Heart and Soul at their Dia de Muertos festival in October, and then at the Sueño Latino Gala in December. Ha sido un placer. He sido invitado a presentar en varios eventos en la comunidad. And tonight we're going to perform a dance called Sevillanas from Sevilla, España. Vamos a hacer una presentación que se llama Sevillanas. And our performer is actually a very famous person from Spain, an actual musician, and she's going to perform El Adiós. So without further ado.
that was our presentation, but do you have any questions for either Eric or I?
Absolutely, and so we'll ask questions and make comments, and then we'd like to have our picture taken with the dancers, if that's all right with you and all right with them. So Lori, starting down with you, either question or comment?
Thank you so very much. That was wonderful. Who was the lady who had the 52 years of experience? I was just Tony. How many more years do you plan on continuing?
Okay, so I'm old.
Thank you for your dedication, and I thought it was really great that the one young lady had 2 first languages, and it definitely shows. Thank you.
Okay, Mike?
Mi español no es muy bueno. Is it? So I'll speak English on that. So thank you. So thank you. That was brilliant. I just had a quick question about kind of the learning environment because obviously with kids that come in that are non-English speaking or Spanish speaking, how does that affect the kind of the learning environment and opportunities for those kids that come in this kind of in the school?
So I think historically those kids come in and they're kind of thrown into deep water. They have to learn in an environment where it is English all day. They may get an hour or 2 of support, but you can see a kid in that situation, self-esteem start to suffer a little bit and they're just tired. I mean, that's a long day every day. So in our environment, what we get to see is kids that can be the expert for half the day and be in a learning environment for half the day. So we see, I think, better self-esteem, and we see a lot of those kids reach potential that we weren't seeing them reach before.
Thank you.
It's also much easier to learn in your first language first. And once that's mastered, you learn the second language quicker. So we're also seeing that they're closing the proficiency gaps and those types of things quicker. So it's really exciting to watch for all of our kids, really. Yeah.
I always love watching the programs, and I know that to the point that Director Scholl raised and you as well, that since I've been on the board, I know that there's been more and more of a push to provide the academics, the books in their native language so that they can then learn, because I think it's unrealistic to tell a child, your first language is Spanish, but I'm going to give you a book in English, so learn how to read it and learn reading or learn science or learn math. I just think it sets them up, and so I love this program. I love the dancing. You dance better than I do, so great job, guys.
All right. I'll wrap up the question, so I'll move down to Denise.
So how many students do we have in the dual language immersion program across the 2 buildings and then across the district?
I can speak for our buildings. There's about 450 between our 2 buildings, correct? And then, our kids move into Bill Reed and Irwin, and then also into the high school programming. I would say, I don't know, anyone have a sense at the middle and high? We're not 100% sure what that looks like, but the majority of our kids do move in unless they're leaving the community. That's what we really find. Students want to stay. Families actually move. I had a family move to Fort Collins, and their 5 kids choiced back. They started, they tried, they want to be a part of the program. So we're seeing that, and we're seeing the success every day.
Wonderful, thank you. And thanks to all of you guys. Wonderful job. Just really neat to see some of the things that you're doing in addition to learning the language, but learning the culture as well.
Go ahead, Dawn.
I just wanted to say great job, and thanks for coming and sharing this with us. You two Wild, who did a great job up here. I really appreciate seeing all of it you guys are learning. Like I'm recognizing some of your faces from kindergarten, and it's amazing to see all that you've learned. So thank you for sharing it with us.
All right. I have just a couple of questions and then a comment. How long has DLI been in our district?
We're at year 11.
All right. And it started at the elementary, or did it start at all 3 levels at the same time?
It started at the elementary level, and we did just kindergarten the first year, then kindergarten and first the next year, and just moved it up gradually in that manner.
All right. It was fun sitting here, and I think Nancy noticed it also. As part of the dance, the kids would turn around and they would face us, and seeing their smiles as they were turning around and so on was wonderful, and it showed a lot of enjoyment on their part, and it certainly increased our enjoyment. I have one question about the dance itself. Does the dance actually call for only one gentleman to be part of the dance, or did it just happen to turn out that way tonight?
So currently, we only have one male student that was interested in being a part of a dance club, correct? Yes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we didn't have time to do 2, but the other one is great. And Mateo plays a very big role in the other dance that they typically
All
do.
right.
Yeah.
Well, way to go, dude. We're glad that you were, very glad that you were also part. This presentation is always a highlight, not just of the March board meeting, but just of our entire year, and in terms of being able to interact with the kids and watch them enjoy, and giving them the opportunity to demonstrate their learning in a public setting. So thank you, students, dancers, very much for being here, teachers as well. And then the board would love to have our picture taken with you.
All right, so kiddos, we're going to fill in.
Stand in the back.
Slide down. All right, tighten up for me a little bit, please, if you can. Okay, you ready? All right, here we go. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Just taking a bunch. Okay, we're good. Thanks.
All right, we're going to move then to agenda item 4.2, which is awards and recognition. And I believe for that, I'm turning it over to Dr. Heller.
It's all right. We're getting something loaded. Sorry. Give us just 1 second. There we go. It's okay. I can. Yep. Okay. Good evening. We have some awards and recognitions tonight. Following the couple of slides up here, then I'm going to ask Kevin Clark, our TSD Director of Athletics and Activities, to do some presentations and updates on all things athletic and activities. But first, I want to congratulate 2 students, Loveland High School senior Adam Nordick and Mountain View High School senior Rachel McReynolds. These 2 were both named National Merit finalists. I don't believe either of them are in the room tonight, but we wanted to take a moment just to recognize them. If you're not aware, National Merit Scholarship Program is a nationwide academic competition, recognizes high-achieving high school students. Students first qualify based on their scores on the PSAT. The top scorers in each state become semifinalists, and then they advance to finalist status by submitting an application, maintaining strong grades, and confirming their performance with a qualifying SAT or ACT score. Finalists are then eligible to receive national merit scholarships funded by the organization, corporations, or colleges. So, though they're not here tonight, I'd love to give both of them a round of applause and congratulations. Next, on February 21st, Thompson School District hosted its annual elementary chess tournament at Lucille Irwin Middle School, welcoming 96 elementary competitors from kindergarten through 5th grade, who faced off in 222 chess matches. We have a number of the winners, I believe, are here tonight. The elementary competition is about more than just winning. It's designed to build problem-solving skills, encourage sportsmanship, and foster a passion for chess. With that continuous play format, students stayed engaged in as many as 10 games each, learning from every new opponent they met across the board. First place in the elementary chess tournament went to Fisher Dillon, a 4th grader from Garfield Elementary School. Second place went to Everett Foster, also a 4th grader from Coyote Ridge. And third place went to Anthony Stellwagen, a 5th grader at Centennial Elementary School. So first, congratulations to all the students for their amazing success. And I would like to invite, I believe, Everett and Anthony are both in attendance to come forward to get pictures with the board. Come on board.
Oops. All right, you ready? Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3. A few. Great, thank you.
So, Mr. President, we're ready to move forward to item 4.3.
Mr. President, Dr. Heller, members of the school board, Kevin Clark, Director of Athletics and Activities, thank you so much for having me this evening. Purpose of tonight's presentation is just a winter update of activities and athletics throughout the district. We will briefly touch on highlights from each high school, and then we'll cap it off to honor 3 of our state champions who are with us this evening. So we'll start with birthday activities. And again, in the sake of time, I'm not going to read through these, but wanted you to know some of the highlights that's happening at each school. Birthed the 10 students qualifying for FBLA state. Definitely a highlight there. On the athletics side for Berthoud, the girls' basketball season ended in the round of 16, but they did travel to Alamosa, got a playoff win there, and then unfortunately lost in the round of 16, but a great season for them. Loveland High School had a school record where they qualified 10 all-state choir students. That's the most in program history. The girls' swim team finished in the top 10 at 7th, and all 3 relays qualified for the A final. Mountain View activities, as we got to a month ago, recognized the unified programming that's going on at Mountain View and when they received national recognition. So definitely their highlight from the winter. In athletics, swimming, they had 3 young ladies who placed in the top 10 at the state meet. Thompson Valley, Jacob Little is the consumer and family science teacher there, and he has started the first chapter for the National High School Barbecue Association. So Yeah, I'm hoping very shortly we'll be inviting you out to eat some smoked meat, but yeah, so keep your eyes there. The second slide of activities is the Knowledge Bowl. Team did finish third at the state meet, and wanted to bring that to your attention. On the athletic side, girls basketball, similar to Berthoud, great season, went 19-4 in the regular season. Unfortunately, lost in the round of 16. And the Thompson Valley cheerleading squad placed third down at the Denver Coliseum in the state meet there. All right. So that's our athletics, and at this time, which I'm excited to do, is invite up three young men, one from Berthoud. If Donovan, you could come up, and from Thompson Valley, Ty and Wyatt, come on up here, please. Yeah, you can stand here, yeah. So you're not a state champion by accident, and these young men have spent countless hundreds, I'm sure, upon thousands of hours to prepare to be down at Ball Arena for the state championship in February. Donovan went 44-3 in the regular season, and 2 pins in the state tournament, and then pinned his way in the state championship as well. And this is Donovan's first year at Berthoud High School, as he was a move-in from Iowa. So welcome to Colorado, and Berthoud appreciates having you. Thompson Valley, sophomore Ty Eversman went 19-1 on the season, and 3 pins to the state championship, and then won the championship match 9-8. I know the score looks really close, but the match probably wasn't as close as the score reflected. And his teammate, senior Wyatt Malara, 47-4 on the season, 2 tech falls, and then he did pin his way to the state championship. So just a quick rundown of those 3 gentlemen, but any questions you have for our state champions?
Board, any questions or comments? I think we're all in awe. That's why the questions aren't just, rolling out of our mouths right now. Anybody?
Great job.
Yeah.
What's your future?
Yeah, all 3 of you take a crack at it.
I'm a sophomore, so I have 2 more years in high school. I haven't really been looking at college as a whole bunch, but I think right now my plan is to continue forward. I think I want to wrestle in college and pursue an engineering degree. So.
I plan on either wrestling at a 2-year or a 4-year college, and then probably doing business.
I'm done now. I'm retired, but I'm gonna go weld. That should be fun.
All right. Board, shall we come on down and get our photos taken with these 3 young men?
All right. There you go. Mike, can you slide that way for me? Just tell you that. There we go. So I can see it. And now, Nancy, you just go that way a little bit. It's like dominoes. Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Taking a few. Good. Thank you. Oh, hold on.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, you guys can come on up there. So we do have the athletic directors in attendance, Ken Smeichel from Thompson Valley and Brandon Bird from Berthoud High School, as well as the Thompson Valley wrestling coach, Steve Gerard. Unfortunately, Cody from Berthoud had a family health emergency come up tonight, so he's unable to be here. But yeah, they were here to support their gentleman as well. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, and thanks for the time and energy you expend.
Thank you.
Also, before we move on, in Kevin's presentation, he hit the highlights of the achievements of the various high schools in both activities and athletics. And I assume, Kevin, that this information that you didn't have time to cover in your presentation is probably on the district website, so that people who are interested in seeing like a full list of all the accomplishments of Thompson School District students have a place where they can go and see both activity and athletic achievements listed?
Yep, and those live on their individual school websites.
On the individual school website. Okay.
I will also just point out that the information that was presented tonight is available on the board agenda for anybody to review as well.
Thank you. All right. Then I believe we're ready to move to agenda item 4.4, which is public comment. And Dawn, would you read the introduction for that, please?
Because the board wants to hear the viewpoints of the public and also needs to conduct its business in an orderly and efficient manner, it will schedule time during its regular board meeting for brief comments and questions from the public. The board will set aside a time for public participation prior to the business portion of the meeting. The time for each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, and each individual will only be recognized once. If there are a large number of speakers, the board may elect to take the comments for 1 hour before the business meeting and conclude public comment after the business meeting. Public comments and questions at a regular meeting may deal with any topics related to the board's conduct of schools. Speakers may offer such criticism of school operations and programs as concern them, but are encouraged to exercise their speech rights responsibly. Speakers' remarks should be suitable for an audience that includes kindergarten through 12th grade students. Personnel matters will be discussed in executive session. Finally, as a reminder to all present, the board and staff do not respond to public comment. This is our opportunity to hear from students, parents, and patrons. The board may discuss public comments later in the agenda or on future agendas. We do have the electronic timer tonight, so you'll see that in front of you when you come up. First, we have Julia Miller.
There you go.
My name is Julia. I go to community connections. I have autism. I want to be an animator, but I don't know what to look for in a job. I got a new ear filter that helps me understand more, but no one asks me about it. I have a hard time with voice to text, and we never practice it. I am not good at multiplication or division, so I don't know how much money I have. My brain doesn't remember how to put stuff in the calendars. I cannot write a resume. They are not helping me do adult things to live on my own, and they're dumping me out way too soon.
Deanna Miller. Deanna Miller.
President of the board, members of the board, and Dr. Heller. My name is Deanna, and I am Julia's mom. And I know we've had a lot of recognition here tonight for people that have done great jobs. I'd like to recognize my daughter for having advocated for herself twice now in front of the school board, and once on the state Senate floor 26-125. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about Community Connections. That's the transition plan, 18 to 21. I'm going to be direct. Where's my timer?
You're just going to have to listen to me because it's not coming up.
Gotcha, no
I'll
worries.
give you a 15-second one.
Okay. So I find Thompson Valley School District is not transitioning students into adulthood. Instead, it's reducing access by cutting the program from 5 days a week into a 3-day program without measurable justification, and they call it appropriate. My question for the board is, are you in compliance with HB 24-1063? And if so, where is the documentation of my parental consent required under HB 24-1063? And where is the record that I've clearly been informed that I had the right to refuse or revoke the limited time? The school district's also not preparing transitional students for employment, and they're limiting the access by replacing skill development days that is assigned for their strengths and preferences with time spent riding the the city bus 2 days a week out of 3 instructional days and calling it community experience. That is only 1/5 of what the transition services require, 1 CC 2.511. The district is not closing the achievement gap. We're widening it by cutting classroom instruction to 1 day a week while calling it supported under the CSR 22-7-611. My daughter will be exited out of the 18 to 21-year-old program in 19 days. She has no READ program. She has no financial literacy. She has no keyboarding skills. And although she filed a complaint with the state of Colorado recently, okay, and she wrote it out by hand, painstakingly, she did it. And there's no job skills either. And if this is your definition of compliance, then where is the evidence? And who, by name, will be held responsible to stand behind this decision when it is formally reviewed? The superintendent, the executive SPED director, or the SPED director? Thank you for your time.
Brad Turner.
Hello. Thank you. Am I good on starting? I don't see it. Thank you very much. Thank you, board, for giving me the time to speak today. My name is Brad Turner. I'm a Loveland resident, and I serve as a board member and director of development for PFLAG. My involvement with PFLAG comes from a deeply personal place. 9 months ago, my daughter Soprano was killed in a hit-and-run accident in Fort Collins. She was 20 years old, a senior at CSU studying political science, and someone that cared deeply about people and justice. My daughter's partner is a transgender woman, and her closest friends are represented the full spectrum of the LGBTQ plus community. While she was alive, I was supportive, but I wasn't truly connected to the community. After her passing, I was. I mourned alongside them. I listened, I cried. I shared a space with them during the most painful time of my life. And what I experienced was this. This is one of the most accepting, non-judgmental, and compassionate communities that I have ever encountered. They welcomed me, a straight, white, 51-year-old male, without hesitation. They treated me like family when I needed it most. And at the same time, I began to see something else a little bit more clearly. How often this same community is judged, dismissed, and treated as other. And at the same time, the contrast is something I could not ignore. A group of people who lead with acceptance should not be the ones facing exclusion. And that is why I'm here. I'm here because I want to continue my daughter's legacy. I'm here because students in your district, all students, deserve to feel safe, seen, and respected. Whether they are LGBTQ, straight, BIPOC, or anything else, every student deserves dignity. And just as important, students who may feel alone or need to know they are not. Organizations like PFLAG exist to support family, students, and communities, and allies like me who are speaking up more because it matters. So my ask to you all is this: continue to create and protect environments where every student feels like they belong, where respect is standard, and where no student has to question whether they are safe with who they are. Because when students feel safe, they thrive. Thank you for your time.
Liz Waddick.
What a board meeting. I'm a Spanish teacher, so my name is Liz Waddick, and I am the Vice President of the Colorado Education Association. I'm honored to be here. I'm a Spanish teacher by trade, 20 years in the Spanish classroom in Summit County Schools. So to be in the presence of the legendary Tony Tyson, I don't know if you saw, I ran to steal a selfie to send out the rest of us, and already got a text back that called her La Madre de dual language. So she's incredible. But what I come here to talk about is to encourage your support, to recognize TESPA tonight. They are asking, or next time, wherever that may be. But I was here in May. I was able to be here in May with them and spoke to some of you. And I want to talk about if you ask a parent about their child's experience, right, at school, oftentimes they'll think about their student's classroom teacher, and if they're a little more involved, they'll know the specials teachers, right? But you all know, as we all know, that who does the important work all day, day in and day out, educating the students of Colorado and of Thompson School District, that their day starts with a bus driver, a food service worker, or a paraprofessional. We all know that the rooms are clean and sanitized for them, and that the lights are on and the walkways plowed because of those hardworking classified staff here in Thompson. And it's all done long before they even got here, right? Those are the people that are asking for recognition. Recognizing TESPA means recognizing and respecting the work of those professionals. As I said, I was here in May, and since then, Summit School District, my school district that I come from, that I taught for 20 years in just 2 years ago, has recognized their classified staff. They asked for recognition right around November, and they have achieved that recognition. Also, Aurora classified staff has also achieved recognition. They asked around the same time that Summit did in November, and have it now. And so our classified are the lifeblood of our school districts. Give them a seat at the table so that they can help you do the best for Thompson School District. I talked last time about your strategic plan. It's so beautiful. It talks about the goal that it's a welcoming environment and a feeling of hope, and that it's something that everyone wants to be a part of, right? There's a part where you say, I can't remember what it's in quotes, it's like that everybody will want to come and work here. You want that for them, and your ESPs are asking for it. Please recognize TESPA. Thank you.
Daniel Strader.
Hello, my name is Daniel Strader. I'm a paraprofessional at Centennial Elementary in an affective needs program. Thank you for your time and opportunity to speak on behalf of classified staff in TESPA. Last year, TESPA presented a petition signed by 60% of classified staff in the district. It is clear that classified staff want the Board of Education to recognize TESPA as the representative group of classified staff. TESPA is built by and led by classified staff. We are in all schools and in all locations across TSD, and we directly work with students. Classified staff know what we need, how to advocate for student success and better the district if given the opportunity for greater collaboration and self-autonomy in TSD. This year, Superintendent Heller shared his vision for TSD to become the destination school district by creating a great place to learn, a great place to work, and a great place to succeed. These aspirations directly align with TESPA, CEA, and NEA. Core values of student-centered work and to retain great educators and staff. Please recognize the system and the union in place for student and staff success. The decision to vote yes for union recognition is not one that is novel or uncommon, as Liz just shared. Many districts across Colorado have already voted to recognize their local classified unions in hopes of greater success and achievement for their districts. Some districts that recently voted to recognize their classified staff include Aurora and Cherry Creek. Some districts that have established contracts with their classified unions include Jefferson County, multiple unions in Denver, and Boulder Valley. These districts typically have higher levels of retention of classified staff, a greater sense of respect for classified staff, and higher pay. Do not put off this vote for another year. Let classified staff have a seat at the table with the Board of Education and district admin. I am truly excited for the work ahead as TESPA, TEA, and Thompson collaborate to make us the destination district. Do the right thing and work with us. Don't push us out, welcome us in. And I have a little extra time, so I just want to give a shout out to everyone who showed up today on behalf of TESPA. I want to shout out just our wonderful staff that does amazing work for us, anyone who's came and spoke for us. We couldn't do the work without them. I'm really excited for next year. We're hoping we're having recognition this year and we can do some amazing work together. Thank you so much for your time.
Cindy Glanzer?
Good evening, Dr. Heller, President Boyd, school board members, and Thompson staff. My name is Cindy Glanzer, and I'm one of the founding members of Thompson Education Support Professionals Association. I worked at Irwin Middle School as a faculty assistant and school secretary. We love connecting with our students, mornings, afternoons, lunch, and outside duties. Yet from time to time, we ended up in unsafe situations with students, and our lack of training was apparent. We were provided with first aid and CPR training, but we needed more. Through the union, we were able to dialogue our safety and training concerns with the district, and we did receive more specific training, interventions, and skills and assistance. We had over 950 staff and students during my time at Irwin. Irwin had more students and staff than one of our TSD high schools. Irwin was not accurately staffed for our size. I was not the only staff member that came in on the weekends to catch up on work. TESPA members met with HR and pressed for more staff to alleviate the workload. I'm thrilled to say that our voices were heard by HR, and Irwin was eventually given FTE for more office staff. The point is that TESPA wants to partner with the district to solve problems and issues that are critical to making sure our students are safe and cared for every single school day. Since 2007, TEA, CEA, and NEA have been supporting TESPA in a multitude of ways to address concerns, train, and educate our members. Currently, the CEA ESP Council is holding town halls, surveying ESPs all across Colorado, and working on an ESP Bill of Rights to pass through Colorado's Congress. Thompson Education Support Professionals have been provided with local training opportunities like ESP National Conference, Fall Bargaining Conference, Summer Leadership Training, and more. TESPA members are professionals. They're prepared and committed to being the absolute best at their roles in Thompson. Despite their critical roles, many ESPs must work more than one job to make ends meet. According to NEA, nearly 1/3 of ESPs earn less than $25,000 a year, and on average, they are making below a living wage in all 50 states. This work doesn't happen in a vacuum, and for 20 years, TESPA has unequivocally earned the right to be recognized by the Thompson Board of Education. They have been consistently doing the union work, fighting the good fight for all TSD classified staff employees. TESPA members, leaders, and organizers know that they deserve to have their seat at the table just as much as TEA does, and as well as the many Colorado education support professionals who have been recognized by their school boards across the state. Do the right thing. Recognize TESPA. Do the right thing. These are not solely my words. I borrow this meaningful yet simple statement from retired Irwin music teacher Sherry McLaughlin. She had one charge for students in her classroom, and Sherry Mack said it never failed. Do the right thing.
Jennifer Paitis.
Hello. My name is Jennifer Paitis. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm currently an SEL specialist at Centennial Elementary. It is my first year in that role. Previously, I spent the last 5 years teaching 4th grade, and 3 years before that, I was doing middle-level sped para professional role. So I want to talk about our classified staff as well, the people who are truly the backbone of our district, of any district. And I feel like that phrase gets thrown out a lot about being the backbone of a district, but that's because they're supporting everyone. And these are the paras, the aides, the office staff, the people who supervise lunch and recess, who step in when a child is in crisis, who quietly hold everything together so that teachers can teach and our learners can learn. They do some of the hardest, most hands-on work in our schools, and yet they are often the lowest paid. As I mentioned, I know this professionally and also personally. Earlier in my career, I worked full-time as a para with high-needs students. It was where I fell in love working with students. With working in a school and a school district and being part of a community like that was something I didn't know I needed. I gave everything I had, emotionally, physically, and mentally. It was some of the hardest and yet most meaningful work I've ever been a part of. I supported kids who needed consistency, patience, deep care, and deep love. And I didn't make a living wage. If I wasn't in a shared income home, I wouldn't have been able to live in that home. It was pretty heartbreaking realizing that the love of my job wasn't sustainable. Like, it was not something I could live on. No one who dedicates themselves to supporting our most vulnerable students should have to choose between working and being fulfilled and basic stability. The people in these roles today feel that same tension. They want to be here, they want to serve these kids, and they want to build careers in our district. But wanting to stay isn't enough if you can't afford to stay. Recognizing their union gives them a voice and a fair path forward, and it strengthens our schools in the process. When classified staff can advocate for fair pay and working conditions, we keep experienced people. We reduce turnover, we fill positions that are chronically hard to staff, and we create consistency for our learners who rely on that stable, trusted adult every day. When staff can afford to stay, everyone benefits. Students, teachers, and the district as a whole. This is about respect, dignity, and partnership. It's about showing that we value the people who hold our schools together, not just with words or cute little glue sticks at the end of the year or during classified week that say, "You hold us together." It's showing we value them with action. I'm asking you tonight to recognize the classified staff union and give them the voice they deserve. I'm asking you to acknowledge the basic needs of your fellow humans. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Greg Grody.
Good evening, President Boyd, Dr. Heller, and board members, and cabinet, and audience. My name is Greg Grody. I am the director for both TEA and TESPA, representing the amazing licensed and classified staff in the Thompson School District. I'm speaking tonight in support of and on behalf of the classified staff in TSD. I spent the last 11 years visiting sites and listening to classified staff. They do amazing, heroic work in support of your mission to educate every child in Thompson. These staff members, critical to the mission of Thompson, love their students. Your custodians, paras, secretaries, bus drivers, SHOAs, media specialists, interpreters, food services staff, and many others have made it clear through many conversations with me and through a petition signed by more than 60% of your staff in May, that presented to you in May of 2025, that they want, demand, and expect a voice in their working conditions and salaries, just like the licensed staff members. There have been concerns raised about the membership and representation. Like TEA, membership is optional but has a lot of benefits, but it's a choice people make. And when TESPA is recognized, we will, as a bargaining agent, we will represent all classified staff members. And in December at CASB retreat in Broadmoor, Dr. Heller acknowledged that it is important that the classified staff have an independent voice, free from the influence of administrators. This provides more honest feedback and input. During that meeting in Colorado Springs, you asked Dr. Heller to present you an option to vote to recognize TESPA as the bargaining agent for the classified staff of TSD. I was there, and I was very excited to hear you ask for that option. We are very excited to see that this option should be offered to you in April 8th at your study session. And after that, we're excited to watch you vote to support your classified staff, to give them a voice, a bigger voice during your April 15th regular meeting in Berthoud by recognizing TESPA. Thank you for all that you do.
Jana Lewis.
Hi. Good evening, President Boyd, members of the board, and Dr. Heller. My name is Jana Lewis, and I'm the proud president of Thompson Education Support Professional Association. We all know and we have heard that it takes a village to run a school. Classified staff, our bus drivers, custodians, paraprofessionals, and office teams are often the first faces that students see in the morning and the last ones they see before they head home. And you've heard, we love what we do and we're fully committed to the students that we serve. I have truly appreciated the conversations I've had with each of you over the last few months, and I'm here kindly to ask the board to formally recognize TESPA next month. We are seeking a seat at the table to be partners in solving the challenges our district faces, and just as our teachers' voices are valued, we ask you to value ours too. We are not blind to the reality of the district's finances, Colorado finances, and we know the budget outlook is very bleak. However, it is important to note that recognizing TESPA costs the district nothing. What it does do is show the people on the front lines that you truly value our expertise. By recognizing TESPA, you gain a streamlined way to hear from us. You get organized feedback from the staff working directly with the students. Stronger retention because when staff feel respected, they stay. And a dedicated ally in advocating for better funding at the state and federal levels. Since we brought our petition forward last May, signed by the majority of your classified staff, we haven't slowed down. We are continue to still build relationships, grow our membership, and problem solve. Just as we stood by TSD last fall to help pass the bond, we continue to advocate alongside our union brothers and sisters across the state. We're actively lobbying and staying engaged in the Cut the Ropes campaign to protect Colorado's school funding. Recognition is a gesture of respect and a step toward a more inclusive, collaborative community. We ask you to do the right thing next month and vote to recognize us. Thank you for your time, all of your hard work, and everything you do for our students, schools, and community.
All right. We'll move then to agenda item number 5, which is the superintendent's report. Dr. Heller.
Thank you, President Boyd. Just a few items I want to address during my portion. Recently, we in Thompson School District honored our school resource officers as part of National School Resource Officer Appreciation Day. It was a great opportunity to thank the officers and our security team for their continued commitment to our students and our staff. We truly appreciate the relationships they've built, which keep our campuses safe. And I will just say, I think for those out there in the world who don't know the difference between being a school resource officer and being just a regular police officer on the street, it is a different relationship that our school resources officers and security officers have with our students and our staff. They are truly part of that campus. It was a great time to spend with them and celebrate them. Last month, also, Thompson Career Campus hosted its annual mock interview day, giving students an incredible opportunity to step into their future careers. Students participated in interviews with industry professionals and experienced what it is truly like to sit across from an expert in their chosen field. After their interviews, students received personalized feedback from their interviewer, as well as from a professional panel. They were evaluated on confidence, quality of responses, professionalism, and overall presentation. Thank you to our industry partners who generously volunteered their time and expertise to support our students. Experiences like this help to build confident skills and a bright future for our students. And then on March 12th, we held our 5th Thompson Leadership Academy session at the District Support Services Center. This session featured an exploration of the district's Innovative Technology Services Department, which focuses on digital tools, digital access, equity, digital safety and wellness, school innovation, and library services. Amazing programs were presented, projects and opportunities that are in use and available today for students and staff, and our ITS team did a fantastic job showing them off to the attendees. It was very hands-on, very engaging. I heard many of the members of that group talk about they had no idea just how much work behind the scenes this team does to keep technology running, but also innovating and continuing to get better in Thompson School District. And then finally, I'll just a reminder that assessment season is upon us. State assessment season. Just so you know, 3rd through 8th grade CMAS and COALT tests begin April 6th through April 23rd. We have our high school PSAT and SAT district-wide testing day on April 15th, and high school CMAS science is April 20th through 23rd. So things are about to get very busy on our school campuses. That's it for me tonight.
All right, any questions for Dr. Heller about his report? All right, we'll move then to agenda item number 6, which is the action consent items. I will first read the items that are in the list. 6.1, approval of minutes for February 18th, 2026. 6.2, approval of minutes for March 4th, 2026. 6.3, approval of personnel extra duty coaching recommendations. 6.4, approval of expenditures over $50,000. 6.5, approval of gifts and donations. And 6.6, the 2026-2027 JIC insurance renewal recommendation. Before we proceed to a vote to accept the action consent items, Denise, would you please read the list of gifts and donations that the district schools have received?
Yes, school board policy states that gifts or donations over $1,000 need to be approved by the Board of Education. This list is what we have received this month. A donation of $49,500 to be used exclusively for 66 Riddle Axiom helmets at $750 per helmet for TSD high school football programs from the Denver Bronco Foundation. A donation of $2,817 for the Huddle annual subscription payment at Mountain View High School from a Mountain View High School football donor or booster. A donation of $1,500 for banquet expenses for Mountain View High School from the Mountain View High School Booster Club. A donation of $1,233.35 for basketball uniforms for Mountain View High School from the Mountain View High School Basketball Booster Club. A donation of $21,735 for the band department at Mountain View High School from the Rockley Family Foundation.
All right, thank you, Denise. I'd entertain a motion to approve the action consent items.
So moved. Second.
All right, motion from Denise, second from Dawn for approval. Laura Lee, would you please call the roll?
Stu Boyd.
Aye.
Denise Chapman.
Aye.
Lori Goebel.
Aye.
Don Kirk.
Aye.
Nancy Rumfelt.
Aye.
Mike Scholl.
Aye.
Thank you, Board. The vote was 6-0 in favor of approval of the action consent items. Moving to agenda item 7.0, which is discussion action items. I believe there are none. So we will move to 8.0, which is discussion items. 8.1, a budget update. And I assume that's coming from Mr. Ebersol and Ms. Rogers.
Good evening, Board President Boyd, members of the board, Dr. Heller, Bob Ebersol, Chief Financial Officer.
Good evening, Mr. President, board members, Dr. Heller, Tiffany Rogers, Chief Human Resources Officer.
So we're going to give you a verbal update of where we are with the budget at this point. We put it on the agenda. We will be keeping it up on most agendas going forward. We thought we might have additional information of what's going on at the legislature. We do not. They are facing a $1.5 billion issue to balance the budget. K-12 budgets are the second largest item in the state budget after Medicaid. We have a legislature that is committed to K-12, but they are up against the wall for a budget issue. At the moment, the most recent Colorado Department of Education run of our funding shows us getting about $325,000 more than last year, the current year, which is essentially level funded. That reflects recognition that student population for next year is expected to go down. So while they're talking about the per pupil reimbursement going up slightly, with our number of pupils going down, the absolute dollar is not where it needs to be. So as a result of looking at that, Cabinet has been looking at every line item within our budget, staffing items, and identifying where we can adjust where we are based on what we need to do going forward. More of that information will be coming out as we actually make presentations to you for the budgets. Tiffany will be talking about the what's going on at the schools at the moment. You just approved the Joint Insurance Committee action just before we came up here. That did, as a result of some of the changes there, meant that the increase did not go up as high as it did. So that is helping our budget by about $500,000 for that action that you took tonight. We are looking at every line item, salaries, non-salaries, programs, with a recognition that this is not just a one-year issue, that we are looking at future declines in population and future issues with state funding as well. There are apparently one or two ballot initiatives that may be on the November election that would bring additional funding to schools. We do not have the final language on that. We don't know what they were doing amendments to things that are in the legislature. There's some that are petitions that may become legislative action. We will keep you informed on that as well at this point. We are not projecting anything coming from that in next year's budget at the moment. Currently, we're going into negotiations, so I'm not going to say one way or the other, but salary raises are part of what would be additional cost to the budget process. Turn it over to Tiffany for updating what's going on at the school level.
Hi, thank you for having us this evening. I just want to give you an update on where we're at with the school planning process. There is what we call an FTE planning committee that's been meeting, since I think I started here in August. So we started meeting in September, working on work to prepare staffing plans for our schools and our principals to work on those. Those were released about a week and a half before spring break. And so about a week before spring break, and our principals have been hard at work with their student projections as well as their FTE planning for what the 26-27 school year will look like. We have been holding office hours for our principals to be able to connect with us, to talk about their staffing plans and work through that process. We've had a big focus on transparency and looking at how kind of a base model is built for our schools and working with our principals to help staff our schools so it's meeting the best needs of our students. At this time, we are in the process of the final few days where our principals are finalizing their staffing plans, which will be submitted back this Friday. And then our committee, our FTE planning committee, will be getting together and we'll be reviewing those plans and determining what the go forward is for those, and then preparing those to go back out to schools so we may begin kind of the hiring process for any open positions that remain and placing, making sure that we have placements for all of our teachers and staff. So that's kind of the update there. We have really focused this year on the part of the process we focused on schools first. So really when we talked about our budgeting process, really the focus was directly at our schools, building from schools and working our way backwards from an FTE perspective. So making sure that we're serving our students and families the best that we can.
Questions from the board?
All right, board questions. Lori, start with you. Question or comment?
None at this time, but thank you for your work.
All right, Mike?
Bob, I just had a quick question about, I know we talked about it before, so I apologize, but some of the effort that's going on at the state level to put something on the ballot, what is it? Is it shifting funding? I mean, are there tax increases, sales tax, or?
So two different proposals. One proposal is actually to implement a graduated income tax with the lower income folks getting a reduction of their tax and the higher income getting a higher income tax. That's one proposal. The other thing is to adjust the limits of Tabor. That's a really back of the envelope discussion, which would then allow additional funding to come to the schools as a result of elimination of that limit.
Cool, thank you.
Nancy?
So this is, I think, my 5th budget cycle, I think. And so every time, and I know that you haven't been present for all of them, but every time it's always an issue where it keeps progressing, and we really don't, as the board, we don't have a lot of data as we're asked to prioritize some of the negotiating items, don't really understand what are the expenses, what does the revenue look like? It's the end of March, and we really have 5 more meetings where we could be presented the budget and really allowed to go through it before the 6th meeting when we vote on it. Every year I bring up that there's something with this process that needs to change, because the board is who is accountable and responsible to the voters for how and where this money is spent. And we are headed towards some really tough budget times, and it's really difficult to even fathom what might we recommend to Dr. Heller, what are our priorities, what should we do, thinking about for next year when we just really don't have a lot of data. And so I hope that at the April 8th study session, that we do get some numbers, because we're in a critical time. And I really, as someone who's done a lot of budgets, I understand that it's really important for the people responsible for it. We need to get the data. So that's really all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, Denise?
No questions at this time.
Dawn?
I'm just gonna wait.
All right. I don't have any questions at this time. Follow-up from anyone, or Dr. Heller, do you have anything you'd like to say?
No, I mean, certainly we have been, we've sent out some communication to our staff a couple times now over the last month or so, trying to keep them updated on the process that we've been going through. I think as we've shared with our staff community, based on a number of factors: declining enrollment, increased costs, insurance being one of those costs, a number of factors. We were targeting a range of $6 to $9 million in reductions for the Thompson School District. That upper range of $9 million is, we hope, worst case scenario if certain things like specific ownership tax and some of these pieces that continue to be discussed actually happen for this current budget cycle. We have really already identified essentially the $6 million worth of reductions across the system, which include everything from personnel, as was discussed, but also non-personnel expenses. We're hoping that that's the limit of what the reductions are required. But also, we are going into negotiation season, and we have some decisions that we have to make together with our negotiating partners, with the board, in terms of things like compensation. And when you're reducing $6 million from your budget, that is necessarily without accounting for additional expenditures if you're going to increase compensation. So there's going to have to be continued conversations to identify how we do what we need to do to also remain competitive as a school district, to make sure that we're able to recruit and retain the best people. So plenty of challenges. As Director Rumfeld mentioned, we have a lot of budget challenges coming our way, as do all of the districts in the state. And I will tell you, it occupies a large portion of a lot of people's time right now. And I was talking to TEA today, and I know it is also occupying a lot of emotional energy in our buildings for all of our people who are very nervous about what this means for them, their position, their pay, all of those things. So none of it's fun, but I think there's a lot of people trying to do it the right way and be really thoughtful in making those decisions.
All right. Board, anyone else want to make a comment or ask a question? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we move to agenda item 9.0, which is board communication, those of you who often attend board meetings may notice that the order of agenda items has been altered this meeting. We had decided a while back that we wanted to reorganize the order of items. And so rather than having board reports earlier in the meeting at I believe they generally followed the superintendent's report, which is actually moved down also to a lower place in the agenda, that we're going to have board reports, which we're now calling board communication, toward the end of the meeting. I'll read the statement that is part of the agenda. Each member of the board has the opportunity to report on events or to communicate with other board members and the community with a limit of 3 minutes per board member. And with that as an introduction, for the last set of questions, I started at this end with Lori. And so for this, I'd like to start at the other end. Dawn, do you have some board communication to share with us?
I will just say that this is a tough time to do this, right? I mean, we just talked about budget, and clearly that is a big deal. It's an even tougher time, I think, to do the work day in and day out, right? I mean, what I'm struggling with as far as hard decisions is nothing compared to thinking about that and then still doing the work in front of you. And our staff is doing that every day. And I just, want to recognize that the ability to maintain all of the important things while still trying to figure out what might happen and how is it going to affect me day in and day out and the people I care about. How's it ultimately, every adult who's talked to me has included really what's it going to mean for kids. But we're at the point of talking about what it also means to their families, our staff's families. And in the end, that then is a really hard discussion. And so I will just say that I don't like any of this. I don't feel good about any of this. Knowing that some of these things are going to potentially be on the ballot for people to make decisions about, I hope that if you feel the same way about our kids really being our future and how important it is that they're well educated when they're going to be my doctor or my lawyer or whatever, any important job that we have in our community, the challenges we're facing are unsustainable. Colorado has long prioritized education only in words, not in deeds. And we are at a point where we can't maintain, we can't cover it. We can't continue to ask our teachers and our bus drivers to make up for what our community doesn't want to do. And I hope that if other people feel the same way and care about their neighbors who are working in schools and working with their kids or their neighbors' kids or their grandkids, that you can also support making some significant changes to how we do this, because we can't keep trying to figure it out. And our community has our own teeth in the game. We haven't always supported education. I think it was like 20-some years that we didn't. And so I think we have to think about how are we going to make up for this too, because we can't depend on the state or the feds to make up for it.
Thank you. Denise?
No, nothing this month.
All right. I'll do the wrap-up again. Nancy, go ahead.
So first I'd like to start off by saying that we held the first meeting of the Citizens Bond Oversight. I'm really excited because the membership that was present, it was just really wide and varied with the different skill sets. And so I think that's going to be a great group, especially with using the project number system. And then I did also go and see the Chicago performance, and oh my goodness, those two lead women, high schoolers, were amazing. I mean, they were amazing. And just kudos to that whole team. And then I'd like to wrap up with, because this is Women's History Month, and I think it's important to recognize women who've made a difference of trying to help women earn money and stay home and take care of their kids. Women who, like Mary Kay Ash, who was told she couldn't do it, and she started a multi-million-dollar company, and because of that, many women were able to get their own career, stay at home and take care of their kids. There's even the woman, Betty Nesmith Graham, and if you're not as old as me, you may not appreciate this, but she invented whiteout. Whiteout was a lifesaver, I have to tell you. That's all, it was a lifesaver. And from that, she employed a lot more women and created a lot of opportunities for women. And so I think there's many different ways of women in history to recognize, but now I'd like to recognize someone in our very own community that I think we don't appreciate all of her skills, and that would be Marilee Bowers, who was awarded the Case Manager of the Year. I don't know how many were aware of that. She is part of Foothills Gateway, and she has excelled through constant change with positivity, adaptability, strong leadership, quickly mastering new systems, and helping colleagues succeed. She maintains a high caseload while meeting all HCPF quality standards, is a dedicated advocate, working with courts, schools, providers, families to ensure members receive the services they need. She's known for her clear communication, skilled IEP guidance, and well-facilitated meetings. She has earned deep trust and praise from families and partners. She also strengthens internal systems through process improvements and consistently steps up during shortages, making her an exemplary case manager and highly deserving of this recognition. And I want to applaud and recognize Marilee Bowers as someone in our very own community, as a woman who really has gone the extra mile to show just how much real women rock. And I just, it's amazing, and we should recognize and appreciate her skills. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Mike?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Lori?
Thank you, President Boyd. Good evening again to my fellow board members, Dr. Heller, parents, students, faculty, and staff of the Thompson School District. It is with a grateful heart and a deep sense of purpose that I am here before you tonight. The majority of voters placed their trust in me last November, and I carry that responsibility with love, determination, and a clear commitment to serve every child, every family, and every one of you with integrity. Speaking plainly and truthfully about something that keeps coming up in our conversations about education. Several times during public comment, the phrase, quote, separation of church and state. Many well-meaning people repeat it as though it appears in our founding documents and have stated as such. But I must tell you with clarity and love, it is nowhere in the United States Constitution. Not one word. It came from a personal letter Thomas Jefferson wrote in 1802 to the Danbury Baptists, reiterating to them that there would not be a state church to the exclusion of all others. This phrase, separation of church and state, is not from the supreme law of our land. What the Constitution actually says is that Congress shall make no law respecting establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. That is protection, not exclusion. Our founders drew their wisdom straight from God's word, and they wanted faith to flourish freely, not to be silenced in public spaces like our schools. Here in Colorado, we are even more blessed. Our own state constitution begins with an open acknowledgement of the Lord. As we prepare to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Colorado statehood on August 1st, I believe it is fitting that we remember the very words our forefathers chose when they established this great state. The preamble of the Colorado Constitution. We, the people of Colorado, with profound reverence for the supreme ruler of the universe and grateful for the blessings of freedom and liberty, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the state of Colorado. That is who we are. That is the foundation we stand on, and that is why I will continue to fight, lovingly, respectfully, and without apology, for the policies that protect every student, respect every parent's God-given authority, and equip every child with truth, excellence, and hope. Thank you for the honor of serving. God bless you, God bless our students, and God bless the Thompson School District. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll conclude then. At a recent board meeting at which we were talking about the challenges presented by Thompson School District's declining enrollment, one of the board members suggested that one of the reasons may be parent dissatisfaction with the education we provide. The comment set me to thinking, and knowing that I would have the opportunity to respond at tonight's meeting, I started to do some research. Here's some of what I found. Impact of declining birth rate. Our current senior classes at the 5 high schools have just under 1,200 students. We have 956 kindergartners, approximately 250 fewer kinders. Obviously, not all of that difference is due to just declining birth rate, but research indicates much of it is. The U.S. fertility rate is at an historic low. There was a 2% drop in the birth rate between 2022 and 2023. The impact of COVID. According to the Denver Post, before COVID, Colorado enrollment had grown every year since the 1980s. During the first year of COVID, 30,000 students left Colorado public schools, and 1.4 million students left public schools nationally. Why did they leave? When public schools like ours were mandated to close, working parents especially needed places for their kids. Many turned to private schools which weren't forced to close, and the children have never returned to public school. Many others found online schools or chose homeschooling and made those choices work for them, and the children haven't returned. And as my colleague noted at the previous board meeting, undoubtedly some have left TSD due to dissatisfaction. Some fascinating research. A Stanford University research team discovered this concerning fact. During the pandemic, many families moved their children to untracked alternatives. Among students who left public schools between 2019 and 2022 during the pandemic, 13% remain unaccounted for, and there's no record that they ever enrolled anywhere. The challenges. The absence of all these children who've left public ed for other options or who just disappeared has resulted in fewer dollars for education. And then there's Colorado's current historic billion-dollar-plus budget shortfall, which we know will reduce TSD's budget our next school year between $6 and $9 million at least. Is it time to throw up or throw up our hands in despair? For this board member, throw up maybe, but not throw up my hands in despair. The superintendent and his cabinet have been meeting for weeks to present the board with options to ensure that TSD kids will continue to receive the high-quality education that parents are used to and the community expects, options that will allow us to do everything we can to minimize the impact on our kids. And that concludes the board reports. Item 10.0, written reports. DAC minutes are the written report this time, and you will be able to find those. Board, are there any requests for information? That's agenda item number 11. Hearing no requests, I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you.